822, Big 550, KTRS. Andy Strickland is the host of Hockey Sense here on the Big 550 KTRS. That show appears at O.B. Clark's right there on Brentwood Boulevard, along with Jamal Mayers. He also, you see him on the sidelines, on the boards, at Fox Sports Midwest doing Blues games. Good morning, Andy Strickland.
Good morning to both of you.
And good morning
Hockey
to
Sense
you.
was last night?
Last night, had a great show, as always. You know who came to the show last night? Jinsey Dunn, 17-year-old high school senior here in St. Louis. Want to give her a shout-out real quick. She just scored the overtime game-winning goal to win the gold medal for Team USA at the Under-18 World Championships.
Wow.
And
that's
as
awesome.
a 16-year-old last year, the last cut from the USA Olympic team.
Is she from this area?
As a
As a
16-year-old.
16, she's unbelievable.
She's from here?
She's from St. Louis. It's an incredible story. She's dropping the puck tonight before the Blues game.
What's her name?
Jinsey Dunn.
Jinsey Dunn. Where'd she go
One
to
of
high school?
6 kids. Like, I think it's called Fulton. It's a private school out there, like
Okay.
by St. Albans or something.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. The Blues take on the Red Wings tonight. 5-game win streak on the line.
Yeah.
What's going on with Martin Brodeur?
Well, I just think it's a situation here, and as we've talked about in previous weeks, Kelly, I think you brought this up several times, that they have 3 goaltenders, right? So only 2 can dress on a given night, and we all know 3 is not a situation that most teams probably choose to have, but because of injuries and a unique situation, that's what they have here. And I think he wants to take some time to reflect on his future. What's he going to do? Does he want to play? I think the Blues do have options if they wanted to move him to another team, but that comes down to Martin Brodeur. Does he want to go play for another team, and does he want to continue to play here in St. Louis under the current situation? I think they've granted him time to get back to New Jersey, talk with his family, and decide what he wants to do.
So they could trade him,
Oh, absolutely they could trade him.
and they could get something for him,
I think so.
which would be interesting. So he has to decide if he wants to go and be traded
And
somewhere.
that's exactly right. And, you know, all indications from him, I've had conversations with him about this, and you know, the vibe that I pick up from him is that he's not really all that interested in going to another team this season. You know, there's a lot of, it's not pressure, but there's so much attention on a guy like Martin Brodeur. It's not like a normal player who can go walk in with another team.
Right.
You got to deal with all the media attention, all the hype that comes with it because of who he is, a legendary player in the National Hockey League.
Right.
It's not just going and putting the pads on, stepping on the ice and playing some games. There's so much more that comes with it.
He's also 4 games away from 800, though.
700.
700.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's-
yeah.
I mean,
This
and
is
no
a
one's
good
ever,
spot here.
no one's ever. I mean, that's like being, 4 games away from,
Yeah.
800 home runs.
Yeah, that's the hard part. You
but
know,
the thing
I mean,
is, would they trade him mid-season and to another team? And I think the thing is, if he does stay here, will they use him? And how much will they use him?
well, right now they're not using him, and I think out of respect, people look at it and they say, "Wow, he's sitting in the press box, he's eating popcorn every night. You know, he's not even backing up being on the bench." I think they're doing that to respect Martin Brodeur. You know, they're not gonna put him on the bench and have him be the backup and basically sit there
Right.
in his equipment and watch games from the bench. I think that's a sign of respect by just having him be the number 3 in reality and letting him watch the game with his family. So
Did he play well enough to earn more playing time, or
You
the
know,
two the Blues have better?
I think the 2 that they have are probably give the team a better chance to win. Now, with that being said, if this was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals,
Right.
I would feel somewhat comfortable putting Martin Brodeur in there, considering his track record and his resume, even at 42 years of age. But what we've seen so far from him in a Blues uniform, he's been kind of what you would expect. I mean, he makes 1 or 2 great saves every game. But overall, the overall body of work, he's been just okay. Had 1 shutout, got a victory against the Florida Panthers, and there's been other games where he's played pretty well. But you think about the Anaheim game, you think about the LA game, those are games the Blues have to win, top-notch opponents in the NHL, and he was just okay in those games.
So we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
What's the Blues record? How many games have they played?
Well, I want to say they've played 43 games.
43
now.
games, and
Yeah.
Tarasenko is the leading goal scorer with like 20.
24 now.
24.
Third in the National Hockey League.
Right.
Going to the All-Star game.
As a kid, I remember Mike Bossy
Yeah.
scoring 50 goals in 50 games.
Yeah, Brett Hull did that too.
Right. I mean, that's just like unheard of now.
It is unheard of.
I mean, why did they? Why? Why can't they score the way they used to?
Because goaltenders have caught up to the rest of the players in the league. You go back and watch highlights of the National Hockey League, going back into even the 80s and before. I mean, goaltenders are half the size that they are today, and they're half as good as they are today as well. I mean, obviously you had maybe the upper echelon or 2 or 3 elite goaltenders who could probably play in today's game.
Right.
But goaltenders today are athletic. They're bigger. You used to hear about smaller players playing the goaltending position. Now you got goaltenders who are 6'7".
Right.
And they're just big. They fill the net. It's so difficult to score from distance. These guys are incredible. And often you watch NHL games. Sometimes you see the goaltender, the best player on the ice.
So but that sort of shows you how the game has changed,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's going from 40 home runs a year in baseball to 20 home runs a year
Yeah.
being the.
Well, baseball, we're talking steroids.
No, I understand that, but I mean, you're talking about scoring though. You go from, I mean, and I know 50 goals in 50 games was a rarity, and it was the super high end, but they're not even close to that these days.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Yeah.
But goaltending, that is the reason, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, because everyone can shoot the puck. They can all skate. I mean, you look at a fourth-line player nowadays. They can all shoot. They can all skate. They can all play the game. I mean, the game has come along so far. I was talking to Ken Hitchcock about this recently, and I just went and sat down with he and his wife. And it's going to air. Part 1's going to air tonight on Blues pregame show at his house. And just in terms of how the game has changed, this guy's been coaching hockey players since the 80s. And, he loves the size, the skill, the speed of the game. But there's other parts of the game that he's not crazy about. But it is much more difficult than ever to score goals in the National Hockey League.
Well, the NFL changed the rules to make it easier to score.
Yeah, I know.
And
you can't even breathe on a guy without getting a flag.
Well, but I mean, are they trying? Are they thinking about ways to make it easier to score in the NHL?
That's a good question, McGraw, and they have, and that's why they changed some of the rules coming out of the 04-05 lockout. That's why you see the shootout nowadays,
right?
In an effort to make it more entertaining for fans. I mean, you can't even put a stick on a player's hip without getting a hooking penalty nowadays, too. So I think it's much more difficult to defend. And a lot of the rules that they changed in the National Hockey League are 100% geared towards increasing offense.
Yeah, all right, good.
Yeah.
All right, so the Blues are playing well, right?
Red Wings tonight. We don't get to see the Red Wings all that often anymore.
No, it's
because now
outrageous.
they're in the Eastern Conference. This used to be
They're in the Conn Smythe division.
arguably the best.
I don't know.
You're going way old school. We got Mike Bossy. Now we have Conn Smythe. What's next?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, this is great. But so the Red Wings come to town. We used to see the Red Wings all the time. The Blues and the Red Wings were in the same division for years and years and years, and now they're in the Eastern Conference, something that they wanted for a long time. They finally got what they want, like the Red Wings always do. Always get what they want. So now they're in the Eastern Conference, but that should be a lot of fun to see the Red Wings at the Scott Trade Center tonight.
Andy Strickland, Hockey Sense, depending on when it is, usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on the schedule.
Next
week Tuesday. All right, good.
All-Star break coming up. After Monday, Blues don't play for like 10 days.
What will they do?
Go to the Bahamas.
That's a long break.
That would be nice.
That's a ridiculously
Oh, my
long
God.
break.
It is ridiculous. But they'd get like 5 or 6 days off before they even have to come back to practice. So believe me when I say
Do they really go to an island and
Oh
kind of
yeah.
kick it?
When I say every player will be taking the first flight out of here Tuesday morning, I mean every player will be taking the last flight out of here Monday night.
All right, there you go. Andy Strickland, Hockey Sense, KTRS, and Fox Sports Midwest tonight. On Fox Sports Midwest, the Blues host Detroit out at the Scott Trade Center. And if you're so inclined, it's a great family night. It's great to go see the game.
Great family night. Jency Dunn, USA hockey superstar, drops the puck.
And going to a hockey game is fun. It's just fun. It's just a good time.
Especially when the Red Wings are here.
Yeah.
And the Maple Leafs on Saturday.
Exactly.
You kidding me?
Andy Strickland, have a good week.
Yeah, you too.
8:31, Big 550.